Hi, my name is Sam. I am the first affirmative for the debate about euthanasia. First, let me explain what euthanasia is. Euthanasia refers to the practice of intentionally letting a terminally ill patient die in order to relieve pain. Our main claim is that euthanasia or physician-assisted suicide should be legalized and practiced on terminally ill patients in the United States of America. I have 4 supporting points. A, people have the right to die however and whenever they want. B, euthanasia leads to the end of the suffering of terminally ill patients. C, government should not interfere with terminally ill patients' decisions. And D, euthanasia will save money. On the first one, they start with a story about this man called Bill White. I'm going to quote The Economist, a 1999 issue of The Economist right now. Bill White had had enough. Paralyzed in a gymnastics accident in 1967, he had spent the past 32 years as a quadriplegic, hooked up to a respirator longer than almost anyone else in the United States. He needed 24-hour care and rarely left the hospital. Despite this, Mr. White's life was not empty. He had many friends. He was known for his vitality, generosity, and sense of humor. He raised money for charity. Computers offered him a window to the outside world. Nevertheless, earlier this year, he decided that he wanted to die and demanded that his ventilator be turned off. So this shows that people have the right to choose whether or not they want to live or not. And in this case, it did not seem like he was in pain, but he just decided out of nowhere to just end his life. In this 1997 issue of The Economist, someone says that advances in medical technology today often means that people are living longer and all too often suffering for long periods of time due to illnesses, and yes, this does mean often an agonizingly slow death. Suicide and assisted suicide is often viewed as the most logical choice when faced with these circumstances. So, basically this means that people, supporting the other point, that people have the right to choose whether or not they want to die. The 3 main things about living in the United States of America is that we are guaranteed life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. But imagine being so sick that you were just barely hanging on to life, and you were too sick to do anything you liked, and also you were just not free enough to choose for yourself whether or not you want to die. So that's how a lot of patients feel like when they are not able to, when they're not allowed to do euthanasia. Going on my second point, euthanasia leads to the end of the suffering of terminally ill patients. Faye Gersh says in How Shall We Die that Americans should enjoy a right guaranteed in the European Declaration of Human Rights. The right not to be forced to suffer. It should be considered as much of a crime to make someone live who with justification does not wish to continue as it is to take life without consent. So not only should people have the right to decide for themselves, but euthanasia also ends the suffering of terminally ill patients. So this is not a bad thing to intentionally help people in suicide, but it's actually helping them cope with suffering. On my third point, government should not interfere with the decisions of terminally ill patients. In Vacco versus Quill, it said that a state's categorical ban on physician assistance to suicide as applied to competent terminally ill patients who wish to avoid unendurable pain and hasten inevitable death substantially interferes with his protected liberty interest and cannot be sustained. So, by this, we can see that these decisions are made for ourselves and by ourselves, and that the government should not even be part of the discussion. And on my last point, euthanasia will save money. Merrill Matthews says that even though the various elements that make up the American healthcare system are becoming more circumspect in ensuring that money is not wasted, the cap that marks a zero-sum healthcare system is largely absent in the United States. Considering the way we finance healthcare in the United States, it would be hard to make a case that there is a financial imperative compelling us to adopt physician-assisted suicide in an effort to save money so that others can benefit. So basically, by letting people die, that those people that actually want to die, we can, first of all, the euthanasia is like a little less than $100, and by doing that, we are saving money by not having to care for those people that didn't even wish to live anymore, like for like a few months or weeks. And with that money we save, we could actually help other people that need it. So, yeah, my 4 points were: people have the right to die however and whenever they want. Euthanasia leads to the end of suffering for patients. The government should not interfere with the decisions of patients, and euthanasia will save money.